Yo, what's up, my YouTube fans? I'm your girl Kayla, and you know what tonight means. Um, so how is everybody enjoying their weekend? Um, and I know I was supposed to do some stuff earlier, but I forgot because I noticed tomorrow is going to be a very special day for me, even though it's not my favorite thing to do, at least. Um, I noticed that sometimes I can be doing something, sometimes I will not be because it depending on the mood. But anyways, I have very awesome news for you guys. So I looked up on my schedule. Um, I looked on my schedule earlier, and and it was um I might go up north this summer again. Um, I might not. It all depends. Um, on May 16th or 17th, I'm gonna see and ask my dad whatever I need to do. Um, I know it's okay for everybody. I'm just saying, like, if I could see about a couple of things before I go. Um, I know it's going to be kind of tricky for me. Let's say like that. Even though I couldn't go up north last year because I was sick, and this time I'm not gonna cancel it because I know it means so important to me, and some of the family that I have is up there, so we're gonna make that happen this time. If I do have enough time in the summertime, I'm going to see half of Dad's side, even though I do have about a couple of family up there and kind of my cousins. And, if everything works well for me, I'll do okay. Let's say that. Even though I'm going to make this 2 hours because last time was like an hour. So we're going to try to do 2 hours this time. Even though I've been doing very well, I want to say that for my own experience because a lot of people want to take it seriously, and that's fine. Because most people say to me, "What do you want to do whenever in the future time?" Well, there's many ways I can say. We can say, I can say, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I like to do in the meantime. And some people say it's okay for me to see the whole family. But I'm not even gonna bother with that because a lot of people would be all like, okay, do what you have to do. Like something like decent or, something that will actually pop up in my head. Um, I do remember one time I missed on um about 2 or 3 uh times that I did it. I know a couple of times I went to state fair. I know about one time I missed because um we're gonna try to worry about that later. Anyways, yeah, so we're just gonna figure out something hopefully by the end of this month or next month. If everything goes well and I see what is happening in the meantime, then I say it's okay for me because a lot of people are now saying that you want to uh, get everything settled, and that's fine because I had to get everything settled anyways, and I had to get everything, sorted beforehand. Otherwise, it's gonna be all like, well, what's gonna happen and this stuff, and we'll see what we'll have to do. Um, I will remember the one time I did um let's say it would be something that I like. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to get everything done and over with, hopefully by next week. Because next weekend I won't be able to do much because it's going to be my week. People will say it will actually be quite decent, which is good. Will say that any of you guys, my fans out there, have any like um questions, concerns, anything like that you want to ask me, please let me know in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Um Even though I hate to say this, is because a lot of people say, yeah, okay, it's okay if I do this one time, it's not gonna happen. Well, apparently it would happen. So I'm just saying, like, for a lot of people out there, it's not gonna happen. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, you're not doing this, dot, dot, dot. And the next thing I know, it would be between 1 or 2 people of like saying something to me, and then they will be all like, okay, well, what's your game plan? What's your actual, thing that you want to do? Well, there's a couple things I could do. I could do a lot of things. Even though I have like so much to do in my life, I want to say it's very decent. And to be clear, I would have to say it would be nice for me and some of my friends just to do stuff in that. Um, I know it would be okay for me and my folks anyway, even though I don't feel like doing much stuff in the meantime, even though I know I do it anyway. Um, sometime in the future, maybe I'll start to get everything done and over with, even though I will have plenty of time and stuff like that. And it's okay. I'll at least have like 2 to 3 minutes every freaking time that I get to something, even though I don't feel like it a lot. Um, it's okay for me, but not for my actual family and stuff. I know a lot of people would have asked me, "Oh, well, what's your big plans for the summer?" Well, one of my friends asked me to do something for them. Because it would be decent and it would be all, different kind of chit chat. So this is what I did. I try not to, you know, do anything for them, even though I'm trying to get stuff done and sorted. I'm still sitting here like, I don't know what I'm doing, and this is like my actual free time, and it's not really gonna work like that because some people say it won't happen, and some people say it might happen. And I said to myself, do I really want this to happen? Well, I started to think about it, and the next thing I know, I saw somebody say, oh, okay, well, that's kind of decent for you to say because you don't know what you're going to do in life until you actually know what you're going to do. Well, there's a couple of things I can do and some things that I can't do. So then I would have to do something between one of those two and get everything sorted, maybe like that. And then, maybe a week later or 2 weeks later, somebody asked me, oh, well, what is your game plan for the fall? Well, my birthday's in the fall, so let's say it might be getting closer, or I could be busy with family. I mean, this year I'll be busy with family anyway. So, I'll just be getting stuff done and all this and all that. Well, everything else can happen. Even though I can't decide of what I'm gonna do yet, even though I kind of got plans. Um, some other good things I'm concerned with is like I can't wait for the new Just Dance game that's coming out in November because Just Dance 2023 is coming soon, and I want to say I had to wait at least months for that to happen. Well, that's going to be more than 5 or 6 months ahead. Well, guess what? I wouldn't have to wait until about late October, early November, just to ask one of my family members if I could get the game, and I would have said, okay, this is what I want. Like, this is what I want for this celebration stuff, and da da da. Even though I said to a little bit of my fans and my family members, like, I don't want to say much, but let's say if I did have, like, a couple minutes just to chit chat with both of them, then I would have said, okay, you know what, we're just gonna talk about it, right? So this is gonna be like an all-time thing that I might do. I might do like starting Monday. I know I'll be um more streaming on YouTube, but on this time it won't be the same one because some people say, right, this is what's gonna happen. And I know it's gonna be a long story for me because I'm doing it. And like people would say, oh, okay, well, this is gonna be actually happening in real life. This is what you're gonna be doing in the meantime, and this is what you're gonna be doing for your birthday. Well, you don't know that quite yet because you don't know what's gonna happen. Some people say it might happen. Like I said, it might happen, it might not. Who knows? Maybe I'll be 21. So the next thing I will do is probably be like, okay, yeah, let me do something, and it actually, got up to me, and I'll be like, okay, this is what I want, and this is what I do. And then I'll wait and find out um what I can do, and since I'm already doing something, I might as well do it because a lot of people say it's not fair on the other person. Well, it could be. Um, Even though I kind of recognize that some people say that it would be okay for me, even though I won't be returning back to YouTube on the main one until the 8th, which I got like 6 days and something like that. And that I would have to wait until like about maybe 2 to 3, yeah, 2 3 days, and then I'll have to wait again, which is so tricky for me because I know how people are, and people are like that sometimes. Even though I kind of felt like it, I would have been all like, okay, this is like what I want. Like, this is what I'll do in the like, now to, the present. And people say on social media to me, oh, well, you should go back um, to do this. Well, guess what? They'll just have to do something or think of something that I can do before I can actually start saying, hey, this is what's going to happen for me. This is not going to happen for you because one of my friends said to me, like, it was about 2 or 3 of them now, and I said to one of them that I said, okay, this is what I'm gonna be doing because it's like my career. Like I'm already doing my career right now. Like I wanted to be famous, which I already am famous. Um, there was a couple of other things I wanted to be, but then later in the week I'll be getting everything done and stuff like that, and people would say, okay, yeah, you can do this for a couple of days, da, da, da. And then I'll say something like, okay, this is like kind of decent. Can I do this for like decent times? And people will say, okay, yeah, let's do it. And I don't mean to say it like that because a lot of my friends will say to me, even though I don't feel like it, I kind of got bothered. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to listen to these haters, so let me do something else. I mean, yeah, even though I kind of got aggravated, I don't want to be like saying, hey, oh, well, this is random BS. This is going to be like happening. Um, I would have to say that's very clever for me, to be honest. Because some people missed on how I actually missed, like how I did this and did that. Well, it's kind of okay. Not too bad for me because a lot of people have said, oh, okay, she's doing this just to get everything done and over with. Well, oh, and if you guys like this stream, please like button and subscribe to me if y'all want. Um,
I am going to wait until everybody's um okay with the whole thing because I know some people would say it's not that bad, and I have to say more times the merrier. So I would say right, the more the merrier. The more I do, the more it is. Well, that's kind of true. Yeah, I kind of felt like it, but it doesn't mean that I have to start saying, oh, well, not for your business because I got this and da da da. I mean, yeah, I kind of felt like it. Like, I don't know what else to do besides that because some people say it's kind of okay for me to do, um, like two or three things. And I was just like sit here all day and be all like, all right, well, what do I feel like? I feel like doing one thing at a time. Like, even though I try to keep myself busy all the time, I start, you know, like how everything is and stuff. Even my friends will ask me, okay, how do you feel sometimes? And even though they told me what how I feel, I'll be like, okay, yeah, this is how I feel. And some people say it would be okay for everybody to tell you that because most people don't know that, and some of my friends do. Well, I kind of think that some of the friends that I'm friends with are okay with me because I know how they feel. Like, I know how uh my one friend I'm friends with, and she's like, oh, well, you gotta do this, do that. Well, you can't really be bothered because just because you want something to get done doesn't mean you have to keep on rushing me to get everything done. I said, you're just gonna have to wait until I get everything done and over with, then you can tell me what you need and all that good stuff. Otherwise, it's gonna be all like, oh, okay, this is kind of decent, this is what I want to do. This is not like, oh, okay, well, this is gonna be random. Da, da, da. I'll be like, okay, yep, you know what? Not happening. So I started saying to like two or three people, I was saying, hey, this is like what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do two or three things at once. I can do two things at once if I want to. I could do five things at once. Well, true that, even though you want to be like telling yourself, what do I feel like doing? Well, there's a lot of things I could do. Even though I don't feel like it, I still have to tell them how I feel. And most of my friends don't get that. Like, some of my friends say, oh, okay, well, she's not doing that. She's trying to get stuff done. I'm all like sitting here trying to think of something like, okay, this is not what I'm actually looking for right now. And it's like kind of getting to me. Um, I kind of felt like she was trying to bother me, even though I didn't know what the heck was happening. I would have been like, well, this is not my actual responsibility to tell everybody how I actually do this. Because whatever I have to do doesn't involve them. Because sometimes I could say, okay, yeah, let me do this. Well, you got one thing. I can do so many things at once here. I can do so many things at once and do this and do that. Well, it's current. okay with the other person that's talking to me, even though I don't feel like it sometimes. And one of my friends would like come up to me and say, "How would you feel if somebody told you how you feel?" I would have said, "Well, it all depends on who's talking to me." I would have said, "Hey, I kind of feel like, doing this, doing that." Well, it kind of depends. Like, everybody told me, "Oh, it's okay if you don't want to tell us." And a friend would should do that because most people say, "Oh, okay, well, it's not decent. Let's think about something else we should tell her." Even though I kind of feel like it, because even though yesterday I had like a very busy day, I didn't know what else to do because I kind of felt like it, and I started doing that. And everybody else was like, "Oh, well, it's alright. You don't have to ask me." And it's like, you know, I try to keep myself updated. I mean, not just because I don't like doing stuff. It's just like, you know, it's okay for me. And you know how like everybody is, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm not ready to tell them yet, even though you have to wait and find out. And it's like, dang. So I kind of felt like almost everybody had like something to tell me, even though I was like trying to pay attention to what they're actually saying to me. I wouldn't say, "Oh, okay, this is only gonna be 2 to 3 hours of talking and chit chatting." Well, I mean, we kind of got into the whole thing, even though I kind of forgot that I should, do something, and I would have been like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." So then I try to make it to the point that I actually do it, because some people say, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." And I don't feel like it sometimes. I know how I actually feel, even though half of my friends and family know. And I say, yeah, because you want to know what you're going to tell them first, even though you got to think before you speak. Because when I try to say something to my folks or my parents, they would say, "Okay, yeah, what do you need? What do you like? Give me a few minutes, then I'll see what's going on." And then, like, somebody would just, like, barge into the room and be like, "Okay, what's going on?" Like, I haven't had that experience with my parents, because they always ask me, "Oh, okay, well, you gotta do this. Well, you gotta do that." I'm like sitting here trying to get stuff done. Like, okay, yeah, this is not like gonna work out for me and my, whoever is talking to me. And even though I try to get stuff done as soon as I can, that's still gonna be like 15 hours of watching TV. I don't mind doing that, because some people say, yeah, well, I'm currently not doing anything right now besides, apart from my shows, which I'm not going to explain until like the very end. And then most people say to me, well, what's your favorite show to watch all times? Because my friend said it to me, and she was like, okay, well, if you had to choose your favorite show, what would it be and why? And I had to think about it. I was like, okay. and I had the answer, but I was about to ready to tell her like the next day. I said, right, well, um, I like watching I like watching Victorious because it was funny. I like watching um uh, I like watching One Tree Hill because it was a good show. Um, Somebody else told me what was my favorite movie at all time. I had to think about it for a minute here. I was like, okay, I'm ready to tell that person. So I'm kind of starting to realize like how everybody is. Even though I kind of felt like it, I was like, okay, let me do it. Um, I was like, okay, this is kind of decent. Um, I kind of got into the whole thing of it, even though I have like all my favorite movies and stuff. And I said, okay, my favorite movie at all time would have to be Camp Rock and Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam Edition, because those movies were good. I mean, for the most part. I have other options too. I just don't ever want. I don't want to like didn't want to see them or anything like that. I just didn't want to tell them and be like, well, oh, this is gonna happen for the third time in a row. Well, that's not gonna happen this time because people would just start saying stuff and then they would say, okay, yeah, we'll do this and do that. Well, apparently, if you're telling somebody to do something, you've got to let he or she will probably have to think of what they're going to say next. Even though I don't feel like it sometimes, I would have said, okay, this would be the perfect timing for me to tell you, and I would say, well, I kind of feel like watching my own shows, but not for them. Because one night I was watching One Day at a Time, and one of my actual uh, friends started asking me, what show were you watching? I'm not going to mention the name, but she was like, what were you watching before you even texted me that? And I said, well, I was kind of watching One Day at a Time before you even texted me. Because sometimes she would text me and be like, what show will you be watching? I mean, they don't need to know that. Like, sometimes my mom would tell me and she would be like, what show are you watching? I would say, Mom, what show or what movie am I watching? Because sometimes I would get totally messed up with the two options. So then I would kind of like think about it first, be like, okay, well, she's talking to me, but I know what I'm gonna say. Like some people would say, okay, it's time to chit chat. Well, I mean, that's not like a show, but I'm just saying, I was chit chatting with my mom one night, and I was like, okay, I felt like it, but I should never got into the whole thing, even though I kind of hope I do get to have chill out time. Um, Um, anyway, yeah, so I would just start asking one of my friends if they want to watch the movie with me, right? So let's say this. I was, well, yeah, I was doing something, even though I was looking something up on my laptop. I said, okay, do I want to do this? Or do I feel like asking some of my friends if they want to watch a movie with me? And the only answer I got was, okay, what movie? Then I told them what the movie was called, and I looked at the trailer before I even watched the movie because, you know, sometimes I don't know what the movie is about. Sometimes it could be like on a base true story, like um, I'll use it for example though, right? Dangerous Lies. Um, like says a caregiver is drawn into a web of lies and murder after a well wealthy elderly man dies and leaves his estate to her. Here's what I got on my laptop. Even though I have the movie on Netflix, I still can't watch it because it's really obvious. It's about this is about Katie and Adam. Katie and Adam are a young couple, married. No, let me repeat that. Katie and Adam are a young married couple struggling to pay their bills. Katie works as a waitress while Adam is going to school. One night, an attempted robbery takes place to the diner where Katie works. Adam manages to fight off the robbers. Katie finds another job as a caregiver for Leonard, an elderly, wealthy man who grows close to her. After she tells him about her financial struggles, Leonard insists on helping her out with money, but Katie asks him to give Adam a job instead as his partner, which he does. One day, a real estate agent, Hayden, appears and expresses interest in buying the house. When Katie tells him it's not for sale, Hayden starts to watch them closely. Soon after, Leonard writes Katie a $7,000 check. Katie doesn't want to accept it, but Adam convinces her to use the check to pay the bills that are due and pay back Leonard the rest. The next day, they arrive at Leonard's home to find him dead, leaving Katie devastated. The couple finds a large amount of cash in a trunk and, after a small um, agrees to keep it without notifying the police. At Leonard's funeral, they learn from his lawyer Julia that Leonard left Katie estate and all of his possessions. Katie and Adam move into Leonard's house, but as soon as they pursued the highly motivated Hayden, who threatens Katie. At the same time, Detective Chesler becomes suspicious of Adam. Oh my. Um, and starts to investigate Lanier's death and the robbery at the diner. After talking to the detective, Katie becomes suspicious of Adam. Wonder why? Let's find out. Katie, wanting to confront him, looks for him at the house. She searches the entire property and ends up finding a secret room in a shed. This has happened at the end of the movie. She then finds Ethan Leonard's previous gardener long dead of a long shot wound with a bag of diamonds. Katie and Adam realize that Ethan was Hayden's partner in crime, and Hayden killed him to get his share of diamonds. Ethan, the mortally wounded, had fled to Lanier's house where he died. Hayden knows the diamonds are hidden somewhere in the house and is eager to find him. They decide to flee together when Adam is getting ready. Hayden shows up and holds Kitty at the gunpoint, asking for the diamonds. Hayden and Adam exchange gunfire, and both are killed. Julia arrives, and Katie tells her that Hayden was the one who killed Lanyard with an overdose of his medication. Um, Julia reaches for Hayden's gun and holds Kitty at the gunpoint, revealing that she is part of the plot. She demands the diamonds, but Kitty tells her Adam hid them somewhere and she doesn't know where. Detective Chesler arrives in time and shoots Julia dead. Hmm. 4 months later, Detective Chesler talks to a pregnant Katie about how they searched for diamonds in the house but never found them. In the last shot, Katie turns the sprinklers and leaves the garden. The water moves to the soil side, and the diamonds are shown to be buried under a tree, which the viewers assume Katie knows about. Hmm, I wonder why. So that's about like the true story of Dangerous Lies. And one time, somebody asked me if I've seen any other movies. Well, let's find out what other movies or trailers I watched. Because some of them are kind of okay. Like, let's say, like I seen The Kissing Booth and The Kissing Booth 2, but I haven't seen the last one. So this last one is like, oh, here we go. So The Kissing Booth 3. The Kissing Booth 3 is a 2021 American teen romantic comedy filmed by Vince Marcello. Um, from a screenplay by Marcello and Jay Arnold. It is the third and final installment of the Kissing Booth trilogy, based on Beth Rickles' novel of the same name, following The Kissing Booth and The Kissing Booth 2. It stars Joey King and Joel Courtney. Um, I'll skip the names. The film was released on Netflix on August 11th, 2021. Much like its producers, the film Navigate Reviews received negative reviews. Sorry, take that back. So this says, after a post-graduation road trip, oh, Miss still hasn't decided between going to Berkeley Hills or Harvard, mm, although Noah is already looking for an off-campus apartment for them when Noah and Lee's parents announced they're selling the beach house where they spent all their childhoods. Elle, Noah, Lee, and Lee's girlfriend Rachel spend the summer there to help prepare for the sale. Lee shows Rachel his plans for them to see each other on holidays while going to colleges across the country from each other, while Elle is suddenly faced with a Berkeley deadline. Hmm. Choosing to go to Harvard with Noah upsets Lee, so Elle promises to make it up to him by spending the summer doing their beach bucket list. Noah's friend Chloe, who Elle thought Noah was having an affair with, hmm, arrives at the beach house while Marco, who Ellie kissed, gets a job in the area. During the day at the water park, Noah and Marco clash, prompting to call Ellie naive for not seeing Marco still has feelings for her. Tensions escalate when Ellie struggles to divide her between Lee and Noah. Simultaneously, at the same time, Elle struggles with accepting her father's new girlfriend Linda, also a friend of her late mom, fearing that she'll replace her. Encouraged by Chloe, who is copying her parents' divorce to talk to Elle, Noah makes up with Elle. Marco shows up at the 4th of July party where he again fights with Noah and punches him. But he refuses to relocate. Hmm. Marco admits to Elle he does still have feelings for her, but she rejects him. That night, Elle fights with her father over Linda, accusing him of only dating her for his own pride. In response, he angrily recounts the sacrifices he has made for her and her brother Brad, and that she is not the only person who deserves to be loved. You have no idea how disappointed in you I am right now, he rebuts, unaware that Noah saw her um, acceptance letter to Berkeley. Elle goes to find him at their spot, worried she's only going to Harvard for him and that she will regret it. Noah breaks up with her. Heartbroken, Elle misses a bucket list with Lee to play Dance Dance Revolution. Arguing, Lee tells her that he's never mattered to her compared to Noah, while she tells him to grow up and all of her decisions this summer have been about trying to make everybody happy. Noah and Lee's mother um, tells Elle she should start thinking about what she wants to do and choose a college based on that. Chloe and Elle talk about Noah while saying goodbye, while Rachel, with Rachel eavesdropping on their conversation. Having, having seen the issues Elle and Noah's relationship had, Rachel breaks up with Lee, though she hopes they will someday reunite. Wonder what's gonna happen. Acknowledging how happy her brother is around her. Elle eventually understands and accepts Linda reclining with her father. Marco apologizes to her and they say their farewells automatically before she makes up with Lee. She realized that she spent so long maintaining her relationships with Lee that she hasn't worked out what makes her happy. Elle applies to University of Southern California to study game design. Inspired by her, Noah Lee's mom decides not to sell the beach house. 6 years later, Elle is developing her own game. She and Lee remain close friends, visiting the faded kissing booth at the Cherry Fair and Carnival. Additionally, Lee and Rachel got back together and engaged after college. Sometime later, Elle sees Noah for the first time since their breakup, where he revealed he has job offers at law firms in LA and New York. Noah suggests going on a motorcycle ride while he's back in town, and Elle agrees to part ways, but not before looking back at each other. Elle and Noah ride down the coastline in California on their motorcycles, laughing and having fun. So that's on Netflix. Even though I seen the first one and the second one, but let's find out what happens on one day at a time. Okay, so this is based on One Day at a Time, the TV show. So here we go. One Day at a Time is an American sitcom based on the 1975 series of the same title. Executive producer Norman Lear's company, Act 3 Productions, approached Sony Pictures Television with the idea of the original series with a Latino family. Lear had previously uh, um, executive produced the original series. The series was developed by Gloria something and Mike Lawrence, with Lear and his producing partner Brent Miller as executive producers. The the Let me repeat that. The series features a cast starring Penelope Schneider, Elena, Alex, Dr. Berkowitz, and Lydia. The show revolves around a Cuban American family living in the Los Angeles neighborhood of Echo Park, focusing on a single mother who is an Army veteran dealing with PTSD, her kids, and her Cuban mother. The reimagination of the CBS sitcom tackles issues like mental illness, immigration, sexism and phobia, gender identity, and racism that Latin people living in the United States face. Um, the series premiered on Netflix on January 6, 2017, with subsequent seasons premiering on January 26, 2018, and February 8th, 2019. Um, Netflix canceled the series on March 14th, 2019, but on June 27th, 2019, Pop announced that it would revive the series in 2020, make it one day at a time the first original program canceled by Netflix to be revived on a traditional linear network. The fourth season premiered on March 4, 2020 on Pop, with a simulcast on TV Land and Mogo TV. Um, the simulcast with TV Land was made permanent shortly thereafter as TV Land's ratings for the premiere were nearly 5 times of the episodes on Pop. In March 2020, production on season 4 came to an end due to the COVID-19 pandemic. First run episodes continued to broadcast through April 28th, 2020, with further production and/or broadcast not expected to not resume until 2021. Um, Plans were announced the next day to make an special, further reported in May 2020 as the Pollux episode. The episode co-produced with Canadian animator Smiley Guy Studios, premiered on June 16th, 2020. CBS began airing the season 4 episodes on October 12, 2020. In November 2020, the series was canceled after the fourth season by Pop, as Sony Pictures TV indicated that it would be shopping the, ser- the series to other outlets. On December 8th, 2020, it was announced there would be no new episodes, ending the series' run for good. Upon its release, the show canceled uh, or received critical acclaim, with critics and journalists praising the writing and the performance of Penelope and Lydia. One Day at a Time was listed as one of the best television shows of 2017, with Normus Crickets ranking it um, as one of the top 10 shows of the year. The series received multiple rewards and nominations, including the Primetime Emmy Award nominations for Outstanding Multi-Camera Picture Editing for a Comedy Series and won two in 2019 and 2020. At the 2017 Imagination um, Foundation awards. The series won the Best Primetime Television Program, Comedy Best Actress Television, which was Penelope, Best Supporting Actress, which was Elena, and Best Young Actor Television, Alex. Lydia was nominated for a Critics' Choice Television Award for being um, Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. The series has also been nominated three times for a GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Comedy Series. Even though the show got canceled, I still miss the show. So it says here. The series products the everyday life of a Cuban American family with each character finding their own journey, following the story of Penelope Alvarez, a United States Army Nurse Corps veteran, facing her, return to civilian life with a lot of resolved issues from her time in the army. She works at as a She works as a nurse in the office of Doctor Leslie Bunkowitz. After her husband's alcoholism due to um, post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD from his time in the army made it, and Penelope was unsafe to be in the house. She separates from Victor, taking the children with her. With the help of her Cuban mother Lydia, she raises two children, Elena and Alex. Apart from planning her daughter's quinceañera, Penelope starts dating and finds a love interest. Elena, resistant to having quinces, starts dating a teenager from her class, to later realize that she is a lesbian. After struggling in ways to tell her family that about her sexuality, she finally comes out. So that's on season one. In the second season, Penelope continued to deal with her PTSD while getting back into the dating scene. Elena finds a love interest in Sid, who is binary. Lydia and Schneider will both reveal they are not U.S. citizens, and therefore both take their citizenship tests. Towards the end of the season, Lydia suffers a stroke and begins to hover between life and death, though she humanity survives. In the third season, Penelope, Elena, Alex, and Snyder all find themselves more as the season goes on. Snyder's father comes to visit the building and almost causes the Alvarezes to lose their home. Snyder, a recovering alcoholic, revolts and goes against his father, saving the building from turning into a condo. But by doing this, he relapses. Alex is grounded for most of the season for going to WE Fest, but gets ungrounded when Penelope finds out how he handled Snyder's relapse. Elena loses her virginity to Sid, and Penelope finishes her nursing degree. Um, Even though the show was in 2017, and I have a lot of other good shows too, based on um, a true story, or it could be about, something else, and they could be saying, okay, we're gonna have this many seasons. Well, basically, they're not gonna make any new episodes. So, for my own guess, it's going to be like that forever. And even though some of the shows I watch on Netflix now will still be okay for me, but since Fuller House ended and one day at a time, I could still rewatch them from the very first season and just go from one season to four or one to five. Even though I kind of feel like it because some people say to me, right, this is what's gonna happen. Well, basically, if it was me, I would say, okay, yeah, they're gonna make another season. Um, but I could see it happening. So this is based on Fuller House. Fuller House is an American sitcom created by Jeff Franklin that airs as a Netflix original series and it is wheeled to the 1987 to 1995 television series Full House. It centers around T.J. Tanner Fuller, a veterinarian and widowed mother of three sons, whose sister Stephanie and best friend Kimmy, along with her teenage daughter, live together at the Tanner's childhood home in San Francisco, California. Um, Most of the most original series in this little cast have inspired their roles on Fuller House either as cast members or in guest appearance, with the expectation of um, Michelle Tanner, who does not get to be in Fuller House. Netflix ordered an additional 13 episodes, which were released on February 26th of 2016 worldwide. The second season was released on December 9th of 2016. The third season is split into two parts. Excuse me. Um, with the first half of 9 episodes being released on September 27th of 2017, and the second half on December 22nd of 2017. On January 29th, 2018, Netflix renewed Fuller House for a fourth season, which was um, released on December 14th of 2018. When the first season reception was generally negative. Reviews for the following seasons were generally mixed. On January 31st of 2019, the show was renewed for its fifth and final season of 8 episodes. The first half premiered on December 6th, 2019, while the second half premiered on June 2nd of 2020. Like the original series, the show is set in the same house in San Francisco, California, still owned by Danny Tanner. Tanner. Currently widowed, um, DJ Tanner Fuller is an veterinarian and the mother of three young boys. After the unexpected death of her husband Tommy, who was following his hazardous duties as a firefighter, DJ moves back into her childhood home with her father, Danny. However, when Danny has to move away for work, he allows her to continue living there, and DJ accepts the help of her sister Stephanie and um, her best friend Kimmy, who move in and take part in raising DJ's three sons, 13-year-old Jackson, Max, and baby Tommy Jr. Kimmy's teenage daughter Ramona moves in. So basically, some of the shows I watch on Netflix are like, I want to say it's okay. Even though I don't feel like it, because some of the times when you don't know what you're doing, it's like, okay, well, time a little chit chat. So sometimes I could wait until like now or later, but and again, I don't feel like it sometimes, even though I kind of got into the whole thing, which I don't get. And people would start asking me, what do I want to do in my own time? Well, since I just read those three, I kind of can actually make up time for myself and say, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do for like real, right? So then I would start saying stuff, and somebody would start saying to me, oh, well, what's your favorite show? Good Times, and stuff like that. I could just say, I like, I could give this for an instance, right? Say if I liked, I don't know, Supernatural, and I said to one of my friends that it was my favorite show, I can say, hey, my favorite show could be Riverdale, or my favorite show could be One Day at a Time, depending on if I feel like watching them, then I would watch both of the shows that I watched. And if somebody said, what's your favorite Saturday movie or Saturday show? My favorite Saturday show would have to be Saturday Night Live, because that's the current one I'm watching right now, even though I'm on season two. Um, I kind of hope that whenever I do have a moment, I felt like I was gonna do something. Like somebody asked me the other day if I was doing something, and I kind of got messed up. If somebody was talking to me, um, even though I don't feel like it sometimes, I felt like doing this and that. Sometimes you don't want to do the same old things. Sometimes you want to do random things. Sometimes I know it's going to be tricky for me, and sometimes it's not. Um, Basically, what I would have to do for tomorrow, only in the morning, because well, all I have to do is this. If I'm actually multitasking and talking to somebody, then I could say, okay, yeah, talk to you while I watch my show, and then maybe like a couple minutes later, it's like, okay, let's do this, and then whenever I have a little bit of time, I can say, hey, this could be my favorite thing I want to do. Like some people say to me, it's not really fair. Like it's not kind of fair for everybody else like that. Even though I don't feel like it sometimes, I can't always feel like, you know, do something or say something back and say, okay, this is what I feel like. But before I move on, I'm gonna play this countdown. Um, anyway, so as I was saying, I was trying to get to the moment of telling um my friends and family how I'll be doing stuff, right? I mean, yeah, even though I don't mind it, it would be like, okay, yeah, let's do this or let's do that. Even though I don't mind it, so, like some of my friends say, right, you can't do that, but you can do this. Um, like it won't be as bad if I said, hey, I want to do this. Well, currently I can't because if I do something and somebody didn't tell me right away, then I'll be all like, okay, well, I'll just have to think of something that I can do and stuff like that. But some people say they want to take it too far, and that's like too obvious for everybody, right? So I'll be all like, okay, you know what? I'm just doing my own business. I'm not gonna say a dang word at their face and say, okay, this is kind of decent. This is what I'm going to do. Like some of the things I say to my friends or family say to me, oh, well, it's not gonna happen because you don't want anybody else to know. Like, yes, I would be all like, okay, nobody needs to know about what happens between me and my friends or with me and my family. And I would say, whatever has to do between me and my family has nothing to do with my friends. Even though I'm kind of getting starting to get to the fact that I'm saying so much stuff about them and saying, oh, okay, like I'm doing this stuff, da da da, and everybody else just starts saying, okay, well, you could forget about the haters and move on. Well, guess what? I won't have enough time to handle with all of that because people would start asking me, like, one day when I was trying to do something, somebody would come up to me and say, well, it's not that bad. Like, you don't have to worry about the haters. You just have to worry about yourself and see what goes on in the future. And I kind of felt like that ever since, I moved here. And I kind of felt like I wasn't new to the district, because I said to my parents that, this is an actual district I want to be in. And some people say it's okay for me to do what I have to do, even though I don't feel like it sometimes. And I would just be like, okay, do whatever you have to do. I'm not bothered. What most people say is, um, like one day I was trying to do something. People started asking me, oh, well, when are you going to be free? When's your, you know, next I'll be like, I don't know yet. I have to look on my schedule and be sure of it. Sometimes you don't want to do so much stuff, and it's like, okay, well, you gotta deal with the same stuff every day, and it's like, why do you want to do that? And even though that I'll try to keep myself busy, I'll try to, do whatever I have to do before, summer comes. I just don't know why people would ask me, oh, well, what are you gonna do in the uh next 2 weeks? Well, from the last week, I actually say that whenever I see somebody or I text somebody, I would say, um, okay, when's our next visit? In 2 weeks. That would be the answer. Um, Even though I will see my real dad on the 12th, um, that's still going to be like okay because everybody else is like saying to me, oh, well, you can't do much because if when somebody has like an event like that, and it's like, no, you don't want to do that. But some other days, it's like, okay, well, I feel like I should do something one day, and it's all like, nah, you gotta do the random stuff every day. And even though I don't do much, apart from staying at home or from working from home, I was just, doing my own thing, I guess, if you want to say it like that. Some people say, um, like on a Monday morning, one of my friends started saying to me, um, like what would be my favorite, um, you know, favorite show or movie will be, or favorite song will be. Wow. There's a couple of other options I could have said. So, for first things first, let's start off with one at a time. So, favorite song for me is probably gonna be Done for Me. Um, my current favorite movie would have to be Dangerous Lies or Friday the 13th. Um, and my current TV shows would have to be either um, One Day at a Time, Fuller House, um, Jesse, anything like that. Or Sunny with a Chance. That would be one of those four options, and then I would start asking myself, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to tell them this? Even though they've been trying to ask me for favors, they haven't been asking me much. Even though I kind of had like other plans to, get done and stuff, I just don't feel like asking them. Even though I kind of made it kind of tricky on them, and it's like, well, I don't know what else I'm going to do in the meantime. I mean, in the meantime, I'll do one thing at a time. One day I'll do like so many at a time, and I'm like, well, this is going to take a lot of time. And that's like going to be like more than 3 or 4 hours just for me to get everything done and over with. Even though I don't work in the district, I can still work from home, which I am. And I know a lot of people would ask me, oh, well, you don't have to do this at certain times. Like, I got tired of saying, somebody said to me, don't be up before 10 at night. Like, I never did that. Like, I usually asleep by 10. Yes. How'd you know?
Honey, I'm coming. I'm getting Kiki's medicine. 1 second.
Hmm. Thank you, Mama. Yeah, sorry about the feedback. Oh, great. Hold up. I'll be right back. One second. What? Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. I randomly had to do something. Like I said, I could get very busy in the night sometimes like that. Um, so I kind of hope that I don't do much, even though with um people say nowadays that you don't want to get like say too obvious, or you don't want to say like, okay, yeah, like gotta take care of this and it's all like you gotta do your own thing like normal. And it's okay. I know I get that feeling sometimes. Somebody would ask me like one night I was trying to do something, I guess, and they'll say it wasn't me, it was somebody else. And somebody else was trying to ask me if I have much plans, and I said no, I don't have much plans apart from just chilling and watching my movies and shows that I had to get caught up with because I missed half of it. And I kind of felt like I didn't do much, but then I started saying, okay, I'll do it later. I'll do some of the stuff that I had to do at least later on in the week. At least I don't have to do it every whole day, which is random. And people would start asking me random things, and I'll be like, well, it depends on who you're talking to, even though I'm not even like saying, oh, well, this is not like this and that, even though I'll have 2 or 3 days straight of doing something, and the next thing I know, people would just like go right at me, like, why are you doing it? Or why are you saying that I want to try to at least get stuff done? Well, just because I want to get stuff done doesn't mean you have to bother me and say, oh, you don't have to do this stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I don't mind people asking me random stuff, even though if it doesn't have to like involve me or my friends, then I'm okay with it. And I would have to say at least very rare. A lot of people would ask me if I do stuff. Well, I don't do much stuff apart from doing whatever I have to do, but then I would be like, okay, yeah, give me at least 5 or 10 minutes and I'll get everything done and over with. Even though I kind of started doing stuff, I would say, right, what you need. And then one person would say, okay, well, if you're not busy, can you come over? And I'll be all like, no. I'm like, that's kind of decent. I mean, one time my friend told me to come over, and it was like, I gotta ask my mom if it's okay first. Like, you can't be asking me that. Like, if it was me, I wouldn't say, oh, well, you're not asking me to do this and stuff like that. I would be like, nope. Even though I would be like, well, I don't know if I'll come over, but if it's like a friend of mine, I wouldn't care. Um, if it's like somebody that I actually fully know, I wouldn't mind it. And I would have said, okay, I don't have much plans, we can do it next weekend. And I would be like, well, that's not my responsibility because somebody asked me once if I could go to the mall with them. Couldn't go because I have plans. Even though I had to get stuff done and over with, I still couldn't go. You know what I mean? Like, people would start asking me, like, oh, do you want to stop by, um, uh, somebody else's, da da da. I would be like, I don't know. Because it's not like saying that I should be all like, okay, well, this is kind of different, and I don't want to risk it. So let's say it could happen to me, but I'm not saying it's like happening right now. Because some people would ask me stuff like, when are you gonna be unbusy? When are you gonna be not having plans? When are you not gonna have friends over? And stuff like that. Even though I don't have friends over, I wouldn't feel like that. Because how would you feel if somebody asked you and your parents were like, oh, you can't invite any of your friends over? I mean, I wouldn't be involved in anything, I would just say, nope, I can't, I just can't go. That would be my answer. And some people just ask me, why do you want to be doing this for your own good and stuff? I said, well, it's just because my parents are trying to, protect me from my safety. Like, they ask me so much stuff, even though over the years I would start asking them for, like, other stuff. And somebody said to me one day they wanted to um, do with me. I was like, do I feel like it? Because I was thinking about something. I was like, okay, let me think here, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Well, turns out I didn't have to do anything apart from seeing what I had to do, what I had on my schedule, and everybody else was like trying to ask me too much questions and stuff like that. I mean, almost kind of like drove me nuts at first. And one of my friends on social media were like, "You can't be doing this, even though if you can't like control it, it's like you can't be fucking kidding me." And I just can't deal with that. I would just be like, dang, like a lot of people want to mind me of doing stuff. I just don't mind like people that ask me, oh well, cause I don't mind if they ask me, oh well, how's your day and all that. I would have answered back, but I would have said, well, you're gonna have to wait, cause a lot of people are actually gonna be waiting on me. Just because I'm doing something doesn't mean you have to like say, oh, well, I'm not doing anything at all. Like it's all fine for me at least. Um, like one of my I didn't tell you guys this. So one day I was
I knew it.
anyway, yeah, so one day I was out for a while. I didn't feel like it because I just don't know what else I was doing. And everybody else was like, well, you can't be doing this, even though you can't be texting a lot of people. And I was like reading through what I missed. Um, because they weren't bothering me for stuff. They were just saying to me, like I was responding back to a text message, and the next thing I know, somebody was already talking to me, and I was like, wow, can't you can't beat the Just Dance expert because if you mess with the Just Dance expert, you're gonna have problems. Um, even though I kind of got into the whole thing of it, which was okay for me, and I was like not knocked out, but just saying like a lot of people wouldn't mind me of doing this and that a lot. I just wouldn't mind about the whole thing. I was just like this was like whenever I was like 17, 18, so it was like about 2 or 3 years ago. And I started doing stuff when I was 18 and I couldn't even freaking get everything sorted at least, cause um my uh one of my parents were like, you can't do anything at least until you're actually like 18 or 21, and it's like no, it's not like it's not like I'm asking for another favor. And then I had to say, well, and it was okay for me, I guess. I don't know, anyway. So I didn't get bothered like the night before because some people say, oh, okay, she's not doing much. She's doing her own thing like usual, like I always do. Even though I don't do much on the weekends, well, mostly on weekdays I do, but it's not like asking me and saying, oh, well, this is not gonna happen. And, a lot of people would ask me, what would you be doing on the weekdays? I would say, well, for one, I would be watching my shows, or I could be streaming on YouTube or Twitch. And sometimes I could be like that. I mean, this is what I do on my free time. Mostly if I don't feel like doing anything, I would just be like, okay, great. Apart from Sundays, I'll just be chilling. I mean, like next weekend, I'm not gonna uh try to get caught up with everything that I can for you know uh sorted probably by next week. Somebody asked me, "Oh, are you busy before next week?" I said, "No, why?" As I asked them if it was okay with everybody else, and everybody else was all like, "Well, you can't be doing this stuff," even though I had my own. And then most people say it's not like the same old stuff, and I'm having hard times like doing this stuff, and and I could have said like um and before long I'll have to get off here because I got um because I'm at an hour and 44 minutes now, so I would probably have to wait until it hits the 2 hour mark, then I'll get ready to go to sleep. Um, I kind of noticed that some of you guys are okay with me doing whatever I need to do. But if I'm not on YouTube and you guys can still watch my current streams, um, just to let you guys know that maybe every 3 to 4 days I could come back and, maybe do about 30 minutes of chit chatting. And I could do a different thing or something like that. Then I could think of something that I want to do, then I'll say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for the next uh dot, and I could, at least wait 3 or 4 days. Cause my last stream I did was 5 days ago. So now that I'm doing this one, I don't have to do one until Tuesday or Wednesday. So I think that would be kind of decent for me. And I kind of think that most people kind of got me into the whole thing. I don't know why. Um, I know it wouldn't be that bad, but I'm just saying it's like I'm not gonna come back and get everything ordered or sorted. Sorry, take that back. Not ordered, but everything going back. And I would have said, okay, that's kind of decent to make. Like a lot of people said to me, oh, well, it's not that bad. It's only just because you're just doing this by yourself and you don't want to do, say, oh, well, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. I'm all like, well, you can't be all up in my damn business, so even though I don't, um, even though I kind of felt like I was going to rewatch, some of the movies and my shows I missed out on last week. And I'll probably have to see if I will be okay with it before I say, oh, okay, well, that's kind of more decent. This is more like complicated for me to deal with because most of the shows I watch, I'm not going to do much. Otherwise, I'll be like copyrighted and get that copyright claim again, which I don't want. And I kind of got into the whole thing, even though I had about 1 or 2 hours of watching one episode of Saturday Night Live, and one of them is like, all of them are like an hour and something minutes. I'm like, why do you always have to do this every single time? And I don't know why, but a lot of people have just been all like, okay, well, that's kind of more decent. 1 hour 54 minutes. About 5 more minutes. Okay, guys, I'm gonna log off here and I'll see you guys in the morning. Or I'll see you guys on Monday. No, Tuesday, right? So I'll see you guys. I love you guys. This is your girl, Taylor, signing off YouTube for tonight. Peace, everybody. Bye.